It feels like just yesterday we were all figuring out that whole paying with our cards online thing.
Yeah.
And now suddenly the entire global payments landscape is
That's a lot, right?
it's this incredibly complex web of regulations and technologies and like what we all expect as customers now.
Yeah. It's
You
pretty,
know, it's like a maze
it is a maze.
for any business that's just trying to keep up.
Totally.
So that's why today we're taking this deep dive
Okay.
into this whole world of payment consultancy
Why?
and optimization.
Right.
We've gone through and gathered a ton of analyses on this whole field
Yeah.
and profiles of all the major players.
Cool.
So think of this as like your shortcut
Okay.
to understanding this crucial
Yeah.
part of modern business.
Right.
We're going to cut through all that jargon
Right.
and bring you the essential insights that you
Wow.
need.
Looking forward to it.
We're seeing this explosive growth
Yeah.
in this whole field.
That-
It's signaling
Yeah.
not just a need for outside help,
No.
but like a fundamental shift
Right.
in how businesses are actually viewing payments.
Yeah.
It's not just a back office function anymore.
Uh-huh.
It's a real strategic lever.
Absolutely.
What we've looked at is everything from like
Yeah.
the broad market trends
Ah.
to the very specific details of how the leading firms
Yeah.
actually operate.
Right.
Our mission with this deep dive
Okay.
is to really try to understand the current state
Yeah.
and, even more importantly, the future direction
Right.
of payment consultancy.
Okay.
What does all of this mean for
Yeah.
businesses like yours that are trying to navigate
Yeah.
this constantly evolving financial world?
That's the key.
One of the things that really jumped out at me
Yeah.
in all of this research
Uh-huh.
is the sheer projected growth
Yeah.
in demand for payment consultancy services.
It's wild.
They're saying 18 to 25%
Wow.
every year,
Yeah.
all the way through 2030.
That's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
What's fueling that?
It's a great question.
That kind of explosive growth.
Well, a couple of things.
Okay.
Modern payment consultancy, as we kind of think of it today,
Yeah.
operates right at this intersection of financial services,
Uh-huh.
technological innovation, which is so rapid,
Yeah.
and then regulatory compliance, which just gets more and more complex.
Yeah.
It's not just about saving,
Right.
a few cents
No.
on each transaction anymore.
Right.
It's really about optimizing the entire end-to-end payment workflow.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah.
From start to finish.
From start to finish.
Like incorporating cryptocurrency gateways
Hmm.
or using sophisticated AI-driven
Yeah.
fraud prevention.
Absolutely.
These are all areas where you need
Where you need expertise.
expertise.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just about like
Okay.
the money moving from one point to another anymore. It's the whole
The journey.
the whole journey
Yeah.
that the payment takes and
Yeah.
making that journey
Yeah.
as efficient and as user-friendly as possible.
As possible, right.
And that's where this whole concept of payment optimization comes in.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Payment optimization is that systematic process of really using benchmarks and technology
Yeah.
to improve the payment processes,
You make things better.
to make things more efficient,
Yeah.
to enhance the experience for your customers,
Yeah.
and ultimately lead to better results for your business.
So better outcomes overall?
Never outcomes.
Yeah, everybody involved.
Yeah, and they get into such detail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The leading consultancies analyze over 150 different metrics
Wow.
across that whole payment lifecycle management.
150.
Over 150.
I mean, that really shows you
It shows you the detail.
like how much detail is actually involved.
It really highlights
Yeah.
a key insight.
Okay.
Effective payment optimization
Uh-huh.
demands a data-driven approach.
Yeah.
That goes way beyond just like surface level analysis.
Like you really gotta.
You got to get in the weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've touched on
Right.
why the demand's growing so quickly.
Yes.
But let's drill down into
Okay.
those key drivers a bit more.
Right.
Our sources highlighted 3 primary forces
Yeah.
really shaping the payment consultancy industry.
3 big ones, yeah.
Yeah.
The first one is
Yeah.
regulatory complexity,
Okay.
which we've talked about a little bit,
Right.
but it's always increasing.
Yeah.
Think about things like
Okay.
PSD2 in Europe,
Uh-huh.
the Dodd-Frank Act in the US,
Right.
and all the new payment standards emerging across Asia.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these aren't
Oh.
easy tasks.
No?
It's not just ticking boxes.
No?
They have huge implications
Yeah.
for how businesses process payments.
Yeah.
And you really need expert guidance
Right.
to navigate effectively.
Yeah. trying to keep up with all those
Yeah.
different rules and requirements across multiple countries.
Yeah.
Got to be a real headache.
It's a huge headache.
Yeah, for businesses.
Yeah.
And then we've got the second driver,
Yeah.
technological disruption, the move away from like those older legacy systems towards the modern cloud-based platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a
Big ones.
a massive undertaking for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Businesses need help, not just with
Yeah.
the technical move itself, but with choosing the right vendors and making sure everything integrates.
And it moves so fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
It feels like every other week there's a new
Right.
payment method or technology emerging, right?
It's hard to keep up.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
And the third key driver our sources pointed to is consumer demand shifts.
Right.
We as consumers now expect
We want it now.
instant,
Yeah.
seamless payment experiences.
Easy.
Doesn't matter if we're buying something online, in a store, or sending money to somebody in another country.
Or, cross-border.
Yeah.
It's got to be easy.
And we expect to be able to do it all on our phones.
On our phones.
These rising expectations
I know.
are forcing businesses to reevaluate their entire
The whole thing.
payment infrastructure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They need to be able to offer
Yeah.
a wide variety of payment options and ensure a smooth, secure experience
Absolutely.
across all the different touch points their customers have with them.
It's not just a nice to have anymore.
No.
This is table stakes.
It's table stakes.
Yeah.
You got to have it.
You got to have it.
It's fundamental to staying competitive.
Yeah, it really is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a really dynamic and frankly a challenging environment for businesses out there right now. Our sources said the global payment consultancy industry is already a $12.8 billion
That's a big market.
market with a really healthy KGR. So considering all these drivers, you know, the regulatory maze, the tech upheaval, and the demanding consumers, which of those do you think presents
It's hard to say.
the most significant challenges and opportunities for businesses right now?
Well, I think all three are critical,
Yeah.
but I think the technological disruption
Okay.
probably presents both the most significant challenges
Okay.
and the greatest opportunities.
Yeah.
Because it's moving so fast.
Right.
That means businesses are constantly
Yeah.
faced with the need to upgrade and adapt,
Yeah.
which can be costly
Yeah.
and complex,
Right.
but it also opens up
Yeah.
entirely new avenues for efficiency,
Right.
for better engagement with customer.
Yeah.
And even for creating entirely new business models.
Yeah.
So getting the technology choices right.
Right.
And that often requires expert guidance. Can be a massive differentiator.
A competitive advantage.
Yeah, a competitive advantage.
So businesses are increasingly needing this expert help.
They are.
Let's talk about what they actually do.
Right.
What are the core services that payment consultants offer?
So the core offerings generally fall under
Yeah.
strategic advisory,
Okay.
regulatory compliance, and technology integration and platform optimization.
Okay.
So starting with
Yeah.
strategic advisory and market positioning.
Okay.
This is where consultants help businesses think about their payment strategy in a much broader context of their market and their overall business goals.
So that includes things like analyzing what your competitors are doing
Absolutely.
in the realm of payments.
Yeah, competitive landscape analysis involves mapping out
Okay.
the payment capabilities of your competitors across all kinds of factors, from how quickly they process payments to the different currencies they support and how well their systems integrate with other platforms through APIs.
Right.
An API is basically like a universal translator
Okay.
that allows different computer systems
Got it.
to talk to each other.
Okay.
And then consultants also help with technology road mapping,
Okay.
which is creating these multi-year plans
Yeah.
for adopting new payment technologies.
So figuring out when and how to adopt
Exactly.
things like the new ISO 2022
Right.
messaging standards,
Uh-huh.
or even looking ahead
Yeah,
to future-proofing with things like
Right.
quantum-resistant encryption.
exactly.
So they're helping businesses not just react to changes,
No.
but really plan ahead.
Plan ahead.
Strategic.
Be strategic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a key part of strategic advisory is designing these partnership ecosystems.
Yeah.
So that involves figuring out
Right.
how businesses can collaborate with all these other players in the fintech world.
Right.
like the bota SaaS platforms, the reg tech companies, to build a really robust and innovative payment infrastructure.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a great example of this European neobank that really improved its real-time payment processing speeds by working with consultants to upgrade their
whole infrastructure,
underlying cloud infrastructure and enhance their API gateways.
Exactly.
It's like
a huge jump.
Yeah, substantial jump in performance. So it shows that strategic advice can really have an impact.
It can.
The second core service area is regulatory compliance and risk mitigation. Yeah. We've already touched on that as a major driver for the industry. Yeah. But it is
absolutely crucial.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Consultants play a vital role in helping businesses navigate that as an often complex word of global payment regulations.
Right.
This includes things like implementing PSD2 and SCA in Europe in a way that minimizes friction for your customers.
Because nobody wants a
clunky checkout process.
Right. You're going to lose them.
You're going to lose them right at the last minute.
Yeah, exactly.
They also provide crucial guidance on the complexities of cross-border compliance, especially when it comes to things like data residency requirements and tax reporting.
Tax reporting is the worst in different countries. Yeah. It's so complicated.
It's so complicated. And a significant part of this is also fraud pattern analysis.
Yeah.
Consultants use sophisticated tools, often leveraging machine learning to analyze all that transaction data and identify emerging fraud trends they can help businesses stay ahead of.
Yeah, the bad guys.
Who are trying to exploit their systems. Yeah. It's pretty sophisticated.
It is.
They're analyzing data across like dozens of different risk factors. Yeah. They even use these real-time regulatory update dashboards that track changes in over 140 jurisdictions around the world.
Wow.
I mean,
that's incredible.
Incredible. It's almost like
having
a dedicated
whole team.
Global regulatory intelligence team at your fingertips.
Yeah.
The final core service area is technology integration.
Yeah.
And platform optimization.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, the hands-on work.
The implementation.
It involves those very specific details of getting all these different payment systems to work together efficiently.
Yeah.
Payment gateway evaluation.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Is a big part of this.
Yeah.
They're helping businesses choose the right payment processors by comparing all these technical and commercial factors.
Dozens of them.
We're talking about like Stripe, Adyen, Braintree.
Yeah, all the big names.
The big players in this space, but also many other more specialized providers.
Yeah.
And it's not just about picking the name. It's about figuring out which one best fits.
The specific needs.
The very specific needs of the business. Right.
Right.
Consultants also help with API strategy development, designing those interfaces that allow all those different systems to communicate seamlessly, whether it's for initiating payments, tracking their status in real time, or reconciling
at the end of the day
transactions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A major area is system consolidation, helping businesses move away from having lots of different disconnected payment systems to a more unified platform, which can lead to cost savings.
Big cost savings.
And improved efficiency.
And less headaches.
Less headaches. Yeah. In the long run.
In the long run.
One of the sources highlighted this SaaS platform that managed to really significantly reduce its payment integration costs.
Right.
And improve its transaction success rates.
Right.
By switching to Stripe's unified API after working with experienced consultants.
Right.
That's another great example
of the benefits.
The benefits of having this kind of expertise.
For sure.
So we've looked at the why behind payment consultancy and the what.
The what?
In terms of services.
Right.
Now, how do they actually approach this work?
That's a good question.
What kind of frameworks and techniques do they typically use?
Well, one key framework that our research kind of highlighted is the payment maturity model.
The PMM.
The PMM, yeah.
Okay.
It's a really useful tool for evaluating an organization's current payment capabilities. It essentially ranks businesses across 5 distinct levels, starting from ad hoc, where the processes are largely manual and unsystematic, all the way up to innovative, where you're seeing cutting-edge implementations like blockchain integration, predictive settlement.
Okay, so it's like a ladder.
It's like a ladder.
For payment sophistication.
How sophisticated?
How sophisticated your payment systems are.
Yeah.
So can you give me like a quick overview of those 5 levels?
So level 1 is ad hoc.
Ad hoc.
Characterized by mostly manual processes. Very little automation or formal tracking.
Okay, so very basic.
Very basic, yeah.
Level 2.
Level 2 is reactive.
Reactive.
It involves some basic payment tracking.
Okay.
But not a lot in terms of proactive analysis or forward-looking strategies.
Okay.
Level 3 is managed.
Managed.
That's where you see more automated workflows.
Okay.
And real-time monitoring of those key payment processes.
Okay.
Level 4 is optimized.
Optimized.
This is where things get interesting.
Okay.
Because you get AI-driven forecasting.
Okay.
Dynamic payment routing to achieve greater efficiency.
Okay, so more sophisticated stuff.
Yeah, more sophisticated.
And then level 5.
Level 5 is innovative.
Innovative.
That's the cutting edge.
Cutting edge.
Yeah.
So we're talking blockchain technology, predictive settlement capabilities.
The whole 9 yards.
All the really fancy stuff.
The fancy stuff, yeah.
It sounds like a lot of established businesses.
Probably
somewhere.
In the
middle.
Yeah, in the middle.
Yeah.
Where do you think?
I think most fall into that managed category.
Managed, maybe touching on
optimized
in certain areas.
In certain areas, yeah. What are
the roadblocks?
Yeah, what are the typical roadblocks?
Well, outdated legacy systems that are difficult and costly to integrate with newer, more advanced technologies.
Yeah.
Internal silos between different departments.
Yeah, like finance and IT.
Finance and IT.
Yeah.
That hinder a unified approach to payments.
So they're not talking to each other.
They're not talking to each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes just a lack of awareness within the leadership of the potential benefit.
Of what these systems can actually do.
What a more advanced payment strategy can deliver.
To the bottom line?
To the bottom line, yeah.
It's tough to innovate.
It is.
When you're still wrestling with that older underlying infrastructure.
Fighting an uphill battle.
You're fighting an uphill battle. Yeah. So beyond these broad models, what specific process optimization techniques do payment consultants?
What are they actually doing?
What are they actually doing?
Yeah, one that's used a lot is value stream mapping.
Value stream mapping.
Yeah. It's a technique that's borrowed from lean methodology.
Okay.
And it helps to visually represent the entire payment process.
Yeah.
Identify any steps that aren't adding value.
Okay.
And find ways to eliminate those steps.
Cut out the fat.
Cut out the fat.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can lead to...
It can lead to...
measurable reductions.
In overall processing time.
And so you're finding the bottlenecks?
You're finding the bottlenecks.
And cutting them out.
Cut it out.
To make the system run.
Make it smooth.
Much smoother. Faster.
Efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another valuable technique is simulation modeling.
Yeah.
Often using
digital
twin technology.
Yeah.
This allows consultants to create a virtual model of a business's existing
payment architecture.
Right. And then they can stress test it. Under different conditions, like peak transaction volumes.
Right.
During busy periods. They can identify any potential weaknesses and areas for improvement without causing any disruption to the live system.
Yeah.
That's really useful.
It is for de-risking those big changes.
Any major changes or upgrades to the payment infrastructure. Yeah.
And then there's cost leakage analysis, which focuses on
identifying those hidden fees.
Yeah. And inefficiencies.
Yeah.
That might be present, particularly in the complex area of cross-border transactions. Consultants often use
techniques like
things like
multi-bank rate benchmarking to determine if a business is paying more than it should be for its international payments.
Our research highlighted a multinational corporation that successfully reduced its international payment costs by
almost 20%.
Almost 20%.
Yeah.
By using these dynamic currency routing algorithms.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a significant saving.
It's a big saving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the bottom line.
Straight to the bottom line.
It's a real mix of high-level strategic thinking. And
hands-on.
Very practical.
Yeah.
Hands-on analysis and optimization work.
Running a consultancy business in such a
complex,
involving and rapidly evolving field.
It is.
Can't be without its challenges.
No, it's not easy.
So what are some of the key hurdles that payment consultants themselves face?
We've touched on it.
Yeah.
But
it's such a big issue.
Regulatory fragmentation. Yeah. It's such a pervasive issue that it bears repeating.
Yeah.
It's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
The lack of truly consistent global payment standards means that consultants who are working with clients across multiple countries often have to navigate a real patchwork.
Yeah.